fun with me. I like talkers. So, life is a tough road. That's usually what I say. We are going to face a lot of obstacles. And sometimes doors will be shut right in front of us. And this may make us feel like this opportunity is not for me, or I don't deserve it, or I'll just give up and move on a different path. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story to help you guys have an idea of how we can build the confidence we need to show up as we are. I was graduated in controls and automation engineering in the very south of Brazil. And when I started the course, it was like this. It was only 3 girls in the class. The situation quickly changed, and I became the only one. So by the end of the term, and this was like this till the end, till my final graduation. And I developed a very good relationship with all my colleagues, so they start trying to rescue me, saying, hey, do you really think this is the right career for a woman? Do you think that you are in the right path? You probably should think about changing it. I didn't pay enough attention to them on that, but when I start going out to try to get my internship, I start having the same kind of situation where people didn't thought I could belong to that area. So I heard things like, do you really think you can talk to my people on the floor? Do you really think they will respect a woman? And then I learned that in my town, they were not ready for a woman in engineering. And I started questioning myself, to be really honest. Am I on the right path? But thinking about my life, how I grew up, since very young age, I was helping my father building cars in our garage. He later had his own business. And this entire time, I was fixing things at home. I was building projects with my toys. So I really felt like, no, this is where I need to be. This is my place. So what I did then, instead of giving up, I decided to pursue more qualification. And if I can't find an internship, then I will learn languages, then I will research at the university, I will work more on the labs, to the point that I can't be turned down because I have the best skills. And luckily, it worked. I started work, I was hired in one of the big 3 companies back there in Brazil. But I still heard from my manager at that time that he was not ready to have a woman in his team yet. He really considered, but he saw, no, you really have the best qualification, so I need to hire you. So it worked, and I never stopped focusing on that. So I kept learning languages. I kept going in different challenges at work, and I keep adding degrees to my curriculum till very recently. So I really believe we need to go after and try to be more, especially when we believe in something that really makes sense for us. So actually, one of the important things I always learned I was going to have an international career. So I started traveling the world to improve my language skills. And I got to the point that I traveled to 17 different countries, and I speak 3 different languages. So you really can do when you really put focus on it. And another thing I learned is that we need to challenge ourselves. We need to always try to go further in our life and reach more goals. I always had a dream of flying. So I decided to do parachuting. And it was a Cessna plane, but it really felt like this popsicle plane like that. It's small, it's tiny, no interior comfort at all. And we had to all gather around the pilot to be able to take off. So it's really, really interesting. I can say I thought I was going to die that day, but I kept on my dream. So by the time you are at 10,000 feet, then it's the toughest moment. They open the door and they invite you to jump. So you have to put your feet outside of the plane. They have a support, and you have to hold on the strut of the wing, and then you drop it. And it's free fall. So I almost freak out at that moment, I have to say. But soon the parachute opens, and you have this amazing view. It's a gorgeous moment. So at that moment, I realized, yeah, it's worth the risk. It's really unique. After landing is also difficult, but the point is, when you finish, you have the feeling that you can do anything in your life. So I never stopped challenging myself, even outside of work. But in this path, I learned something else, that it's even more important when you bring someone with you. So I was in this path of trying every time something new, something harder, and proving myself I can do it. But when I met my husband-to-be, I made a proposal to him after quite some time of relationship. Why don't we go do Salcantay Trail? This is the hardest trail to get to Machu Picchu. It takes 5 days that you have to walk and climb and get to 16,000 feet in the mountain. And he accepted. So we went there together, and we have a team of people with us. And every day was a challenge. It was cold, and we were sleeping in tents. We have long miles to reach every single day to get to the next camp. And we were tired, we were mountain sick, we are collecting some blisters in our feet, but we made it. And together as a team, everybody on their own pace, we were respecting everybody's limitations and supporting each other to get there. So this was really a very important moment. And in our lives, certainly set the tone for our relationship. So we have way more challenging situations later, only talking about work. We have difficult assignments. We have to move our family because of those assignments. And in the last one, we came to US. We came to live in a completely different country. But we know we can do it, and we can do it together. It's even better. Last one, once we discover everything we can do to ourselves, we start understanding that actually our world is a little bigger than that, and we can extend this to other people, and especially for the next generation. So I always do my best to try to make the kids understand they can do whatever they want. They need to challenge themselves. Here it's my daughter, so kids can climb mountains if they want. They can play with cars. Girls can play with cars if they want. And I want them to be always curious and trying to learn something new in their lives. So if I can have you all to get at least 3 important messages from this talk today is, believe in yourself. You can persevere even when all odds are against you. You just need, sometimes it's not a straight road. It's more like sailing. You need to find different ways to reach what you want to reach, but you can do it. Challenge yourself. Great outcomes come from getting out of your comfort zone. This doesn't mean you need to do parachuting or climb mountains. It can be very different than that for you, but find what counts, what really challenges you, and go and do it. And last one is spread the word and inspire others. There is a lot of people out there looking for role models, and that can be any one of you. Thank you so much.